Welcome back to another episode of Future Money. I'm your host, Armando Pantoja. This morning's episode is loaded with a lot of insights you can't afford to miss. Something big has shifted in the world of crypto and tech. I saw it firsthand at the Bitcoin conference this weekend in Las Vegas. Now, I was there. I saw some powerful players in the marketplace made bold, unexpected moves, and I'm going to break it all down for you in this episode. We're also going to talk about XRP, connection with Meta. We're also going to talk about, give me one second. We're also going to talk about Ethereum, how it could replace Bitcoin as the number one cryptocurrency. And we're also going to discuss a couple of tech stocks that I think could do extraordinarily well. Now, a major city made a bold move with Bitcoin. Ethereum may have found its MicroStrategy moment in XRP. There's a lot of rumors swirling right now about XRP. So for those you don't know, let's see in the comments, how many people we got in here today? We got 400 people right now, but we don't have any likes. So I need you guys to like the video. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. I still got a toothache I'm dealing with. So I'm going to the dentist after this. So hopefully it'll be over. But I did go to the Bitcoin conference last week in Las Vegas. Saw a lot of powerful things. A lot of people made big announcements. There was as clear momentum in the world of cryptocurrency, but to be honest, there was a bittersweet moment, right? I've been in this space since 2011 when Bitcoin was a counterculture and underground thing. Like a lot of people there were either anti-government or libertarians or wanted to live off the grid. And now to see the vice president on stage at a Bitcoin conference is almost like a full circle moment. We saw it come from his grassroots, and now we see the second biggest person in the world speaking about cryptocurrency. Now, a lot of people say last year Trump was at the Bitcoin conference, but remember, Trump was outside the government at that time. Now, he was a former president, but he was outside the government, and he was kind of counterculture at that time. Now he's part of the actual status quo. So we've come a long way, but revolution sometimes starts to look polished as we get closer and closer to the game-changing moment. Now, in that conference, we saw that GameStop bought 4,700 Bitcoin. They announced that they're going to be try to change what they are into a digital assets company. Now, for those of you who don't know, I've always said GameStop was a dying company. And to be honest, I don't like that companies are doing this. Now, you have to understand cryptocurrency. I love cryptocurrency with all my heart. That's what I put my life into. Tech stocks and cryptocurrency. I don't do anything else. Like people always say, what do you do for fun? I say, I do this. What do you do for excitement? I do this. I don't do anything else. I like this. This is what I want my life to be about. But thank you for the super chat. Let me see. Who was that? Connor. I appreciate the super chat. Thank you. Apologize for that. What did he say? First one of the day. Yeah, I appreciate that, Connor. Thank you so much. So one of the I don't like that these companies are using Bitcoin to prop up their horrible companies. And I think it's a risky move, but people are cheering it on because right now Bitcoin's hot, cryptocurrency's hot. So people think that these companies are making the right moves, and they could be. Like it's almost like, you know, GameStop is a dying company. It always has been for years. Now, a lot of the what is it? A Wall Street Bets crowd boosted GameStop up during COVID, and GameStop has been allowed to thrive for the last 4 years. Now, I always said if you go, I got a story. I don't know if I told it here, but I'm gonna tell it again. I used to play basketball, you know, 2K and stuff when I was younger. I haven't played in years, but I was in GameStop with my son. He's running around looking at all these games. My son don't like sports games, which is crazy, man. But I wish he played basketball, but he don't. So, but my daughter plays volleyball, so that's good. So I got one sports person in the family, but he does like all these other games. So we go in there together. So I go to the sports games, and I was like, "Oh man, I haven't played 2K in a while." And I think it was like 2024, maybe. And I saw a 2K game for like 2022 2K, which was ridiculously, cheaper because it was an older game. I don't care. I haven't been playing in 10 years anyway. I just want to play a little bit, see how it's changed since I was, 5 years ago, 10 years ago when I played. So I bought the game, and it was a disc. And my son looked at me and said, "You can't play that game on the Xbox." I was like, "Come on, man. You play that game on the Xbox. You don't know." I saw a slit on there. You can just slide into that slit. He said, "Poppy, you can't play that game on the Xbox." I said, "Come on, man. You don't know what you're talking about. What game wouldn't have a disc slide?" So I buy the game, and he's sitting there telling me. So I get home, and I take the game out, and I try to put it in this slot, and the slot was actually air slot, so it was no DVD disc. And I'm thinking, how is GameStop? How are they going to survive? They sell most, and I don't care what the proponents of GameStop says. Go into the store, most of it's still disc. 80% of that store is still selling disc. And the next generation of systems ain't even gonna use disc no more at all. It doesn't make sense to the company, doesn't make sense to the consumer. I remember when I was a kid, especially on the little Game Boys, so you lose the game stuff. Now you don't have to lose the games, they're all there. And you can prevent piracy by doing that. So all the game companies are gonna go 100% digital eventually. So how is GameStop gonna survive? Well, they're not going to survive. So they're using tricks like Wall Street Bets helped them out a lot, boosted their stock price up ridiculous. They sold some, made a bunch of money, so they've been able to continue operations. But now they're using Bitcoin to do the same thing. They just give up. Some companies just need to die, and GameStop is one company that needs to die. Now I don't really like what MicroStrategy. Actually, I ran into Michael Saylor in the Bitcoin conference. He got in the elevator with me, but I didn't want to say anything to him. I didn't know if he. Yeah, he probably don't know, but I just didn't know. But I've always said he's a good guy, but I think his strategy of buying Bitcoin to prop up a company, I don't think it's sustainable. I know people are going to say, well, he's using it for this, he's doing that, but I don't think it's sustainable long term. I think he's going to fail one day. So GameStop, like I said, bought the 4,700 Bitcoin, Jack Dorsey's company said they're going to start letting sellers accept Bitcoin by late 25. I also caught up with the mayor of New York there. I talked to him a little bit about how he's someone, I was going to work with him. I don't know if you guys know that, but 2 years ago, I was supposed to start an initiative with him about helping kids in the city, in New York City. But unfortunately, some stuff happened in the administration, so they put that to the side. There was a lot of controversy. So I got to catch back up with him, and we're going to restart that. But he also announced the first Bitcoin-backed bond. The city has been wanting to do this for a while, large scale to help, So he said he's gonna try to make sure or do everything in his power to make sure that New York City will be the first major American city to issue a Bitcoin-backed bond. So that's a big announcement. I also spent some time with Scottie Pippen, Grant Cardone, a lot of energy smart minds. It was a good mix there from athletes, entrepreneurs, even mayors. Shows you how far cryptocurrencies come. First time in history, it was a mass institutions there. And that's one reason why I think that cryptocurrency in general has been held down, especially XRP, because there's so many institutions involved now is that the accumulation phase has been drawn out to longer than it has been in history. So now the prices have been kept down. We all know in the first phase of the market cycle, accumulation phase, that the big players will hold an asset down purposely to make sure that they're able to get in their large amounts of money. Now, if I'm going to put in $10 billion into an asset, first of all, I need time, and I can't have the price going up while I'm putting it in. Now, we all know from basic stock market, any market dynamics, is that the more money goes into a market in a short period of time, it draws the price up quickly. So in order for you to keep the price down, you have to do it over a long period of time to put in all of your billions and billions of dollars. So the strategy you would use is to draw out the accumulation phase, which I think is happening now. But eventually, once all that inflow stops, that's when we see those spikes up in the price afterwards. So we do have an event coming up in Philadelphia and Atlanta. I believe it's the 22nd, 22nd in Philadelphia, 23rd in Atlanta. If you're interested in any of those, I'm put the link in the bio here. Put the link in the chat here. I would love to see you guys out at that event. Put it in here. Thank you for the super chat, Mikey. Let me catch up on those. Mikey says, let me answer some of these questions. Mikey says, we really appreciate you. I appreciate you. June 11th will show the inflation tick for May. What's that other one up there? Can you? It's one more super chat. Let me see what this is. Oh, that's Mickey. Wait for XRP because Bitcoin will dillo. I don't know what that means, Mikey. I appreciate the super chat, but it says wait for XRP at 150 because Bitcoin will dillo. I don't know what dillo means, but I appreciate you either way. So most people in crypto and stocks lose money, but inside the CNC, we make life-changing money every day. I want you to know how things move and how things work when you invest and also when to take profit. Many other people run around guessing. They don't know, panicking. When they panic in, what we call is FOMO in, panic out. That's how you lose money in any market, whether it's crypto, stocks, real estate, whatever. But now you've been watching a lot of the wins we've been making on my shows, on my social medias, and you're wondering why you're missing out. Well, the CNC Chestnut Checkers Group is the reason. DM me the word CNC now or go to jointhecnc.com, which is over my right shoulder. And if you're in the CNC, you've been making money or life-changing information or life-changing knowledge, please drop the money bags in the chat. Well, how many people we got on here? Right now, we got 700 people watching, so I need you guys to like the video. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the channel. We got 700 people in there, but we only got 150 likes. We got 150 likes, so I need you guys to like the video. That really helps me a lot with engagement. Also helps me get the message out there. I really appreciate that. Or if you want to keep, if you definitely want to keep seeing it on your timelines, you have to make sure you like the content. That's how social media works now, is that if you don't like stuff and you just watch it, then it disappears from your timeline, because Instagram or social media or YouTube or X.com, wherever you're at, they think you don't like the stuff. So that's one of the points or the purposes of the like button now. So let's talk a little bit about what's happening with Ethereum. Ethereum is getting its own Michael Saylor. I still don't like companies doing this, but short term, it could be good for Ethereum. Now, I stand on my ledge here is that people hear me talking about XRP all the time. And I think I think that at some point in the next year or so, XRP will flip Ethereum. But I think long term, Ethereum will be the #1 crypto on the planet. I've always said that. Now, I talk about XRP a lot because I see the most investment potential in XRP. Dollar for dollar, what you're going to make return on the investment. XRP is probably the best case with the lowest risk in all of crypto. But I believe Ethereum will be the #1 crypto eventually. It's going to surpass Bitcoin eventually. I've been saying that for years, and a lot of other people are starting to say it now. But I think Ethereum will be #1 eventually. But XRP is a lower price, lower market cap, so it has a lot more room to grow. So you're going to make more money by investing in XRP. That's the reason why I talk about it a lot. And I like XRP a lot. But I still think Ethereum will be #1. So there's a company out there called SharpLink that's actually a gaming company. And they said that they're going to start a MicroStrategy-like treasury for Ethereum instead of what MicroStrategy did with Bitcoin. Now, that caused the stock to go up hundreds of percent immediately. They filed to raise $1 billion, and they're going to use it to buy Ethereum. So they're telling you right now $1 billion worth of inflow is coming into Ethereum. I mean, they've not done it yet. So that tells you right there that the price of Ethereum has to respond. Let me see. Have we checked the price of Bitcoin today? We haven't done that. So we're going to look at the price of Bitcoin. So let me see. So Bitcoin today, can't see it on my screen. Give me a second here. Yeah, so Bitcoin officially closed its highest monthly candle ever. Some people are concerned. Other people see it for what it is. Bitcoin is kind of cooling off right now as investors start to take small profits at the all-time high, which is expected. The question is, what's next? Right? Bitcoin currently trading beneath the trend line, climbing to all-time highs. This point's at a new trend forming. 100,000 right now is support. So consolidation is going to happen, I think, for a few weeks. But Bitcoin will eventually go on to 150, 200, 250. The target I had for this year was 250. I still think we're going to hit that target. I think this summer is going to be a big summer for cryptocurrency in general, but specifically for Bitcoin. Right now we're at 104, I believe 105. I think we're going to 150 here soon, like I said before, and I think 250 is within reach. after we pass 150. It's the perfect environment for altcoins to start pumping. After Bitcoin goes up, we know altcoins follow. That's when XRP, Ethereum, all of the altcoins that we love are going to start also going up after Bitcoin has its day in the sun, which will likely be sometime this summer. So back to what Ethereum and this new deal with SharpLink, a new Ethereum-based treasury that mimics the MicroStrategy's playbook. Now, the good thing about this, the crazy thing about this, or the interesting thing about this is that Joseph Lubin, who was one of the co-founders of Ethereum, is what the chairman on the board of SharpLink. Now, this adds a lot of credibility. The stock jumped over 400% the day of the announcement. Institutional Ethereum interest is rising. There's a lot of ETF issues out there trying to create ETF staking products. Now, the difference between Ethereum and Bitcoin is that you can stake Ethereum. You can make a yield on it and make money. I do this for my Ethereum right now, is that you can have Ethereum, you can put it into a staking account, and you can make a return on it, 3-4%, if you have an entire node, which is extremely well, because remember, you take part in the staking, but you also take part in the growth of the cryptocurrency. That's two ways you make money. Bitcoin, you only take profit in the growth of the currency. Not actually, there is no staking in Bitcoin. So Solana, Ethereum, hopefully sometime in the future, XRP will have some type of, not staking, but loaning type thing. And you can make a yield on the crypto that you already hold. So we got 700 people in here, but only still 200 likes. I need you guys to like the video if you can. So the approval of Ethereum and Solana staking ETFs could open the floodgates. Ethereum could be seen as a corporate asset. This move can influence how public companies build treasuries with crypto. And like I said, is that I think this is positive for Ethereum, but I don't like the way that this, it doesn't make sense for companies to use a publicly traded company that trades, that has issued stocks to buy Bitcoin to boost up its stock price. That's a dangerous precedent. And I don't know why nobody else can see that. Like what MicroStrategy is doing is good for Bitcoin, but it's bad for companies. And I'm gonna tell you why, is that the way MicroStrategy works at a high level is that, and I'm not putting Michael Saylor down. I'm sure he's a good guy, he seemed like one. But MicroStrategy was a failing company. It's a small software company that has like 7 employees, 8 employees. So a few years ago, Saylor was against Bitcoin for years. Then one day he comes out and says, oh, I'm for Bitcoin. So to save his failing company, he started buying Bitcoin. The prices went up, so the stock price went up. So now people are interested in his stocks. And then he issues new stocks because people are interested in the stock. And then when he gets money for the issuance of new stocks, he buys more Bitcoin. Of course, the price of the stock goes up because now he has more Bitcoin and the Bitcoin price goes up. So now he can issue new stock because look at my stock price, it's up now. It's been up 150% in the last 3 months. Of course, people are gonna buy new stock. Then he gets new money, he buys more Bitcoin. Then it makes the price of the stock go up. He's been doing this for years, right? And that's it. Really not much else. That's all MicroStrategy's been doing. I mean, they say they're doing banking and loans. You know, there's no real transactions going on in that. He's been doing this for years. Now, that cycle, almost an infinite money glitch, has to one day end. They can't go on forever. I mean, anybody with any intelligence can see that situation and say, man, I don't believe that's going to last that long. So I don't think it's going to last that long, right? I think something's going to happen. The bottom's going to fall out one day, and MicroStrategy is going to crash. I'm not saying it's going to go to zero, but it's going to, the premium value, or whatever the value is on top of, MicroStrategy is a trust, basically. It should be valued at whatever Bitcoin they have on the books. You should take all the Bitcoin they have, all the stocks they have, and the stocks should be in a direct relation to the Bitcoin. That's what the price of the stock should be. But it's not. It's way higher because of this infinite money glitch he's been doing. Now, that's called premium value. And in the stocks, that tends to collapse when all the hype and excitement is over. We saw it happen with Grayscale back in 2021-22. Grayscale was a similar company, but they were actually a trust. But all this Bitcoin and Ethereum, prices went way higher than what the value of the Ethereum or Bitcoin they had in their company's coffers. And then once the market hype went away, it collapsed below the value of what the assets they had on the books were. So I think the same thing's gonna happen to MicroStrategy eventually. People are cheering it on now, but there's a big risk hanging over MicroStrategy. And what SharpLink is doing with Ethereum is the same, and they also face that same risk. Now, I want to talk about where we are in the crypto market. Then we're going to talk about some tech stocks I think could do extraordinarily well. So, still don't have enough likes here. So somebody says, look at what Michael Saylor did in 2000 as an article in the Washington Post about where his company lost $6 billion back in 2000. Yeah, Michael Saylor's whole thing, and I'm not putting the man down. He's a very smart man. He's sometimes you could say what somebody's doing I don't agree with, but you can still respect the man. You can still say he's smart. You can still say he's an accomplished man. I'm not putting him down. All I'm saying is that he's done this before. Early 2000, he's always attached himself to whatever the hot new technology was. Then he used that to raise capital, and eventually it collapsed. This is the third time he's done this. And he did it in the 2000s with the internet. When the internet started being hot, he attached himself to the internet, and then it didn't work. He raised a bunch of money, it didn't work, and he did it again, I believe, in the late 2000s with another technology. Now he's doing it with blockchain. He's been doing this for years, but I just don't think it's sustainable. I'm not saying it's not a good idea, but it's just not. The price levels that MicroStrategy is at right now, I don't believe are sustainable because of that infinite money glitch thing he's doing. But it's still valuable because he holds Bitcoin. But the value of the company should be whatever the Bitcoin he holds is, plus whatever his business operations are, which are almost nothing. That's what the value of the company is. But right now it's a lot higher. It's like 3 times higher than that. What else do we have? All right, let's move on. So last thing I want to talk about is Ethereum. We talked about altcoins. Then we're going to talk about how Meta may choose XRP as a coin. But Ethereum has been dragging behind Bitcoin and Solana. But I just want to touch on this for a second, as I think a lot of people ask me where the best investment in cryptocurrency could be today. Now, if you look at all the cryptocurrencies, now there's a lot of meme coins out there. I like ASI a lot. We talked about that last night. It's an artificial intelligence coin. I think that that's one of the future true use cases for cryptocurrency is artificial intelligence. You're taking an AI model and tokenizing it. I think that's going to happen in the future. I think that's in the close future, next 5 years, and I think that's a good application for cryptocurrency and tokenization. And I think that's when we get over all these hype of the meme coins and all this other crazy stuff, cryptocurrency will start to do real things. Now, if you remember back in the early days of the internet, it was very gimmicky. There was a website, and I don't know how many of you guys remember it. It was called the Million Pixel website. And some dude started this website, and this was like 1999 or something. It was 1 million pixels on this site in a big square. And he would charge you $1 a month to do ads on this page. All the page was ads. And people would pay, like if you wanted 10 pixels or 50 pixels or 100 pixels, let's say you wanted 100 pixels times 30 for like a logo or something and a link. He would link it to whatever your page was. He would charge you 100 times 30, which is like, what, $3,000 a month. So that's how people would pay for the website. All the page was ads. So he actually made a bunch of money doing that, millions and millions of dollars. That was a gimmick. Who would go to a page that's just ads? It was a gimmick at first. People liked it because it was a gimmick, but a lot of technology starts out like that, very gimmicky and silly and all this stuff. And then it moves on. Even with AI right now, we're making pictures and logo. We're doing jokes and videos of celebrities doing funny things. This is all, it's early in technology. That's always what happens. And then it starts taking on its true purpose of transforming society. And that's what cryptocurrency will eventually do. The funny part is the meme coins and Pepe and all this stuff and all these other, fart coin or whatever's out there. But one day it's going to move into this next stage in which it starts transforming society. And that's what we're headed to right now. But people always ask me what's the best opportunities are in crypto. Now, if you look at the top, the cryptos with the least risk, they're the top 5, top 10. So let's just look at the top 5, right? You got Bitcoin, which has already had its moment in the sun, really. It went from the lowest it got was 15,000. and it got all the way up to 109. That's already 8 times gain, right? Roughly 8 times, maybe 7 times. So at this point, Bitcoin can only double or maybe go up a little bit past doubling. That's when it gets to like 250. That's supposed to the highest we're going to see Bitcoin in this cycle, which is still an incredible return, 120%. But Ethereum still is at 2,500. So the top of Ethereum is 10, 12,000. That's a 4 times gain from here. It's a lot higher. Then we got XRP, which is at 220, I believe. Where's that? Where's XRP at? Let me see. Yeah, XRP is at 214 right now. And at the top of XRP, this cycle is 8 to 12. So you're talking about a 5-6 times gain from XRP, maybe even higher if we get lucky and really hit the cycle and all these things that have been in the works for XRP start playing out. We could even get to 15, 20. So, and even Solana, you can get 3-4 time return as well. So at this point, yeah, Bitcoin's gains are over because Bitcoin always leads the market. So most of Bitcoin's gains are over. If you would have gotten at 15 all the way to 250, that's a 20 times gain, maybe even 18, 20 times gain. That's an incredible gain from bottom to top. But if you sit on the sidelines waiting, yeah, it takes, you miss a lot of the big move. Even with XRP. XRP, if you got in at 40 cents, like we've been talking about it for a year, when it got up to $8, $10, $12, you're up 30 times. You see what I'm saying? Every dollar turned into $30. But if you wait on the sidelines too long, then you miss the biggest gains early on because the biggest gains happen early. And then it gets progressively slower as time goes on. So in this particular environment, I think Ethereum, Solana, and XRP are better choices than Bitcoin. Now, that's not saying don't hold Bitcoin, because that'd be stupid. Bitcoin has the less risk. But I'm just saying if you really want to make a big impact with the least amount of risk, Ethereum, XRP, and Solana are probably better choices than Bitcoin. If you just had, let's say you had $1,000 and you said, I just want to put something in something that's going to make me the most money. Yeah, choose one of those other than Bitcoin. But if you're building out a big portfolio of crypto that's going to be multi-year, you definitely need Bitcoin. That's what we talk about, risk versus reward. We talk about how to balance your portfolio because you can't always swing for the fence. It's not black and white. Everything's levels of gray. And there's also risk in every transaction or everything that you do or every choice that you make. Is that you can't just discount an entire crypto because you're not going to maximize your return on that crypto. Because in that particular crypto, like Bitcoin also has the least risk. It has less risk than XRP. It has less risk than Ethereum. It has less risk than Solana. Because for one, it's been around the longest. 2, it has more players in it. 3, the government's backing it. 4, you got heavy institutional involvement. So they're not going to let it go down. But also, some ice. But also with that many players, it's not going to have a lot of volatility upwards at all either. But it also keeps it less volatile, which is actually safer for long-term investments. So Ethereum is at close to its all-time low in relation to Bitcoin. That's a bigger opportunity because it's actually severely undervalued when you compare it against Bitcoin. XRP severely undervalued when you compare it against Bitcoin. Solana is not severely undervalued, but it has not hit its day because Solana is an altcoin. And we haven't reached altcoin season, which was going to happen sometime into the summer. So those 3 coins have a lot more potential dollar for dollar than Bitcoin. Long term, Bitcoin carries the least risk, but those coins have the highest returns in 2025-26. So we got 700 people still in here, but then we got 400 likes. That's pretty good. So I want to talk about XRP, Meta, maybe choosing XRP. And then we're going to talk about these energy stocks that I'll let you guys go for the day. So Meta just said no to Bitcoin. The board wanted, the investors wanted Meta to start buying Bitcoin, much like Michael Saylor. The board of Meta said they're not going to do it. But there's rumors out there that says that XRP could possibly, there's rumors out there that says Meta could possibly choose XRP as a treasury coin or token. A lot of companies are already out there doing it first. With the court drama, ETF decisions, ripples pushing back on the SEC. This could be XRP's moment in the spotlight. Meta said no to Bitcoin, but if this is true, now these are all rumors, Meta would gain access. If they chose XRP, they could gain access to XRP and a powerful payments ecosystem, which is a lot more powerful than Bitcoin. Bitcoin is slower. Bitcoin doesn't have all the features that the XRP ledger has, or XRP, or even RLUSD. So they can use that whole suite of products to integrate it into Meta's system, and to even create a powerful payment ecosystem. Neither company has confirmed these talks, but investors are watching closely. There's a lot of companies out there that are stockpiling XRP already. Weebus International announced a $300 million XRP purchase for reserves. Vivo Power raised $121 million to add XRP to its treasury. They also have backing from a Saudi prince. There's also last week, Monday or Tuesday, a new Dubai real estate tokenization platform that allows investors to buy fractional ownership in Dubai properties. Just announced their plans to allow people to do this on the XRP Ledger network. A lot of these things are happening right now, and a lot of people come in and say a lot of these moves are mirroring early corporate adoption patterns seen in Bitcoin from 2018 to 2020. You'll see demand was growing despite all the regulatory uncertainty. Remember, Bitcoin from the years of 2018 to 2020 had a lot of regulatory uncertainty as well. People don't remember that period because a lot of people gave up and moved and looked away. I've been in crypto every single day since 2011 almost. Now, 2018, I always tell people all the time, you can meet me in public. You can say, what was the price of Bitcoin this month, this year? I can get it within 10%. that's how much I remember. Oh, it was 300 that month. Oh, it was 500 that month. Oh, it was around 1,000 that month. It may have been 1,000, 1,100 or whatever. I'm going to miss it by 10% either way. But I could tell you every year all the way back to 2011 what the price of Bitcoin was that year and that month on average, because I've been watching it so much. But demand, back in the 2018, I remember I was at a Bitcoin conference in Miami. It was in January of 2018. And that was the first time I'd ever seen half the conference was lawyers. And I was part of a crypto project back then, and it ended up being way ahead of its time. It was called Higher Match. And it didn't, we were so far ahead that it wasn't going to work in that environment. Now, it's a whole nother story, but we started in 2015, and it was the end of that project. We already had it deployed and everything. But I was actually one of the first people in the United States to start a cryptocurrency. 2015, you can look it up. It's in ChatGPT. But during that time, I remember I went to that conference. Man, there was so many lawyers there, and they were scaring everybody to death. Going around telling people that there's going to be SECs coming down, you need to hire me, whatever. Man, I'm telling you, that conference was half lawyers. And that's when KYC started. You got to remember, a lot of you guys got in crypto the last 5 years. Before January of 2018, you could buy crypto with no ID, no nothing. You could go into an exchange, you put in your email address, you could start trading like that before 2018. 2018, early that year, the SEC started putting out all this stuff. Companies start quitting. A lot of companies there was a lot of regulatory uncertainty from 18 to 20. And people don't remember that. And this feels like what's happening right now with XRP. Ripple also sent a letter to the XRP. They wanted clarification on when tokens stop being securities. Now, I'm glad Brad Garlinghouse is doing this. Now, I actually ran into Brad Garlinghouse at the Bitcoin conference. Walked right past me, looked at me, he waved. I don't know if he knew me from all the stuff I put out about XRP, or he just was saying hi. I don't know, because he had 4 security guards around him. He was like 8 feet from him, so I couldn't say hi to him. But I don't know. But he was there. He's pretty tall too. He's like 6'2". But I'm glad he's standing up to the SEC. Now, he sent a letter demanding clarity on when tokens stop being securities. 2017 is the next key date, coming up in a few weeks. That's the SEC settlement update. Could trigger a major price shift. Now, XRP, the good thing I love the prediction market, because that tells us more information than anything else could, because whenever people put their money down on something, they really believe in it, or they have inside information, One or the other. Either one is good for us. Now, the odds that an XRP spot ETF the odds they're going to add one keeps going up. Now it was at 75 2-3 weeks ago. Now it's at 84. That's pretty high odds that we're going to have one by the end of the year. So I like to see that. So a lot of people say, why is XRP not moving? That's the biggest question I get. Why is it not moving? Should I give up? First of all, movement doesn't look like you think, especially if you're a new investor, it doesn't look like you think it looks. Humans only feel, and this is the physical world, humans only feel acceleration. We don't feel speed. And that's actually one of the things of physics is that right now the Earth's going, I think, like 20, 30,000 miles an hour. It's spinning at a certain rate, and it's also going around the sun at incredible speeds. We don't feel that because we're moving with it. Now, if the sun, the Earth's spin just speeded up real fast, 10%, we'd all spin off the Earth. Because we only feel acceleration, we don't feel speed. So the same thing applies to assets, crypto, stocks, and everything else, is that whenever something goes up rapidly, we feel that, we're excited, whatever. Whenever things going slowly, we don't feel that. So we feel like it's not moving. That's why a lot of times you get pulled over on the interstate, you tell the officer, I wasn't speeding. Yes, you were. It's no way, officer. I was going to, it's no way. Julie, you think I was speeding? No, I don't think so, honey. Oh, well, you know, he has to be lying. He's out to get me. That officer, there's no way I was going 100. And then, you know, the corporate dudes, I don't know why, but they argue with the cops. Buddy, what's your badge number, buddy? I swear, you're going to pay for this because I wasn't going 100, buddy. You're going to lose your job. Damn it. Drive off. Honey, calm down, honey. Calm down. He's not getting away with this, honey. I'm not going to stand by and take this. You know, that's how they are. But you don't know you're going that fast. You probably are because the cop got a radar gun. He could prove it because you didn't feel the acceleration. You didn't feel the speed. You was going 100 miles an hour, but you didn't look at the smile. You didn't feel like it because you don't feel that. So that's what happens also with assets, is that you don't feel like it's moving because it's not moving rapidly, so you give up on everything. But there's reasons why XRP is not accelerating, I should say. Big investors buy slowly over time. Now, what's happening with all of crypto, not just XRP, is the accumulation phase has been drawn out because the big players want to get their money in at a longer time period. Big investors buy slow over time to avoid moving the price. Once they're done buying, what we see in the stock market especially, we see stocks certainly jump up. We're going to see that with XRP. We're going to see that with Bitcoin and all these other things that should be a lot higher than they are today. Also, another concept called price compression. Whenever you have an asset that trades in a tight range for days or weeks, even though there's a lot of catalyst events, and also news that should be pushing it, we see that it gets pushed down like a spring and one day it pops out. And that could happen for weeks, days, even months, even years. That's what happened with XRP and when Trump got elected. And there's also that big legal overhang that stands there. It's keeping a lot of people cautious. Now, when that legal clarity comes, hopefully this month, the price can spike very, very fast. Yeah, I don't argue with cops. So I don't know why. I mean, they're a lot bolder than I am. Princess Leah. So, like I said, is that we do have the CNC back open. A lot of people lose money in stocks, but we don't. We make life-changing money every single day. We know why things move when they invest, when they take profit. A lot of people are running around like chickens with their head cut off, not knowing what's happening. If you've been watching my plays, you've been watching the people that are in the CNC making a lot of money, that's why you're missing out. CNC is the reason. Right there, join the CNC.com. $97 a month for signals. We tell you when to get in, what the best times to get in. We give you strategy, direct access to me and my team. We got classes, live events that are free. We had one in LA 2 weeks ago. Some are free because I do them with Live Nation, but the other ones we do have that are free. We also got 2 events that are coming up in Philadelphia and Atlanta. Philadelphia on the 22nd, Atlanta on the 23rd. click the link. I'm gonna put the link. Put the link down here for those events. I would love to see you guys there. A lot of you guys ask me to come to your city, and then I come to the city, you don't buy the tickets. I go to New York, I sell out every time. So I'm getting to the point where I'm just gonna only go to New York because it doesn't make sense to me to go to these small cities, nobody show up. New York, I sell out with 3 weeks before I even get there. It's actually the most economical place for me to go. And I go to these other places because you guys asked for it. So you got to make sure you show up if you want me to keep doing it. But let's go and talk about is nuclear power before we let you go. For years, fusion was dismissed. Fusion and fission energy, nuclear energy was dismissed as science fiction, Jetson-style dream. But with global energy demand surging because of electric vehicles, blockchain, robotics, AI, it's no longer a fantasy. It's becoming one of the highest stakes plays for a global race on energy dominance, backed by billions and billions of dollars. Massive investment. There's going to be a big energy wave, and if you don't pay attention, you're going to miss it. It's going to be maybe bigger than AI or even just as big. Oklo is leading the way. There's also another one called New Scale Power. They both deal in what's called SMRs, which are factory small modular reactors. They're factory-built mini nuclear plants that are cheaper, faster to deploy. Now, it's almost like a modular home. Now, I lived in a modular home when I was younger. And what's funny about modular homes is that if you take a picture inside one, it looks like a luxury home. Like, I don't know if you guys ever saw it. Like, if you ever go look at a modular home, like in the showcases or whatever, you walk in there, man, I don't know how they do it. Inside, it looks amazing. But then if you like touch the materials, you're like, this is plastic. It doesn't, but the way it looks, like they have bigger tubs, they have all the sound system inside. I mean, they'll have like luxury countertops, the kitchens. I don't know how they do it. But they make those homes look amazing. Now, they don't last long. They're going to fall down in a few years. And, they're a lot cheaper. Any kind of wind comes, you might as well you might as well not even have a house. They're going to be blown away. But they do, the reason why they can make these houses look so beautiful on the outside for a very, very cheap price is because they're built in factory and they're standardized and then shipped and assembled on site. That reduces construction time and cost. A lot of the components can be built in a factory and an assembly line, which also reduces the time and effort needed to build them. That's why they're a lot cheaper. And they also, you couldn't build a house that looks that nice for what you can buy with a modular home or a trailer, double wide trailer, whatever you want to call it. But they're using that same concept with nuclear reactors. Now, they're not going to throw them together like they do that. No, that's crazy. They're still going to make solid reactors. But they can do it in a factory, standardized units, and then shipped to the site, assembled on site. That reduces construction time and cost, but also makes it a lot safer. The same way we can make modular homes so beautiful on the inside is the same way we can use that kind of concept to make small nuclear reactors in a factory more safe. We just use, instead of spending the time on beauty, we spend the time on security and safety. So now that it's standardized and every site has the same security and safety, the nuclear reactors start to become a lot more safer. They're a lot smaller. And they also produce a lot of electricity. They're faster to deploy. A nuclear power plant takes years. You could do one of those in months. The two companies that are doing this is Oklo and NuScale. The reason why I'm mentioning NuScale is that in stocks, there's something called a sympathy rally. And that occurs when one stock or sector rises significantly, in this case, Oklo, and then a related stock will go up as well, almost like an echo. Now, there's things in the stock market, that's why you have to join the CNC. There's more to stocks and crypto than just what the true value of the underlying company or technology is. You can make a lot of money predicting hype, predicting the masses, predicting the unsavvy investors, what they're going to do, predicting the investor, how, all of these things that has nothing to do with the value of the stock company. If you're able to be ahead of what everybody else is thinking. Like, this is a sympathy rally. It has nothing to do with the value of the company. Doesn't matter if the stock has its own news calendars. We made a lot of money in AI with this. C3.ai was one. A lot of other companies we made 2 years ago when AI was hot because we understood that the unsavvy investor comes in late. The unsavvy investor is panicked and FOMO. The unsavvy investor are the masses. So when the masses come into an asset, they panically look for whatever went up the same as this other stock everybody's talking about. And whatever comes up first, all the money flows into that company. Now, it's not sustainable long term, but as a way you can make a ridiculous amount of money by predicting the masses coming into something. And that's what's going to happen with NewScale right now. I'm sorry. This is going to happen with NewScale right now, is that NewScale is the closest like company to Oklo. So people are going to see it right now. It's at $31.99. I don't know what it is now. Let's see where it's at. Can you type NewScale stock in there? Chuck? Yeah, I don't have a keyboard. NewScale. Look at the stock. Bring up the stock chart. Go down to Yahoo Finance. Down, right there. Go up. Yeah, it's 31.34, so it's a little bit down. But I think that with enough time, now it's not going to happen tomorrow, but I think we're going to see $50, $60, $70 on NewScale because people are going to, when Oklo keeps going up, and it takes the masses a while. Oklo's up 10 times since we called it out. We called it at 5, now it's at what, 50 something? So it takes a while for, like, if you go look at, like we called out AI, NVIDIA, when it was at $80. It went all the way up to $1,200. The masses didn't get involved with NVIDIA to around $600, $700. It was already up, a lot before the masses got involved in it. And that's the same thing that's going to happen with this stock. Because that Oklo go up to $75, $80, then everybody's going to come into it, and they're going to go find NewScale, and they're going to push NewScale up. Not as high as Oklo, but it's going to go up significantly because of all the new people coming in. That's why it's called a sympathy rally. And I think that's one thing that's going to happen to NewScale. Now, make sure you join the CNC. Go to jointhecnc.com. We also got those 2 events coming up, Philadelphia, New York. I put the link in the chat. Give you guys a few minutes to ask any questions, and I'll let you guys go for the day. Any super chats? We got 5 minutes. I'd love to hear your opinion on what's your take on Polyswarm TGI? I like Polyswarm a lot. Now, that's not one I watch, but I will add it to my list and let you guys know next on Wednesday. We'll look at it. Some people need to pay attention before. Oh, okay. What's your target on Oklo? I don't have a target on Oklo because the first target I had was 100. So we'll see what happens there. But I think Oklo is going to continue to grow. I wouldn't. That's another one. There's a few stocks that I don't sell, and I don't think I'm going to sell Oklo for a while, like NVIDIA and Google. So with that being said, I hope you guys have a great day. I appreciate you and have a great rest of your week. I'll see you on Wednesday and hope you have a great